Ted O'Brien is the Shadow Energy and Climate Change Minister. Ted, welcome to you. The government says this will protect Australia's heavy industries such as steel, cement and explosives. Why do you think it won't work?
Oh, Andy, great to join you firstly this afternoon. And so the government has put out a consultation paper on the idea of introducing a new tariff scheme for the purposes you outline. And so the coalition will do what we always do. We'll engage constructively and we'll review whatever the government comes up with. Instinctively, though, I'm a Liberal and I have concerns when you start introducing taxes and tariffs. I don't believe it's the right way to tackle the challenge of decarbonising the economy.
But as a Liberal, as you put it, you'd be focused on what the businesses themselves are saying. And some manufacturers like explosives maker Orica says the introduction of a carbon border mechanism would help ensure Australia, and kept a sovereign manufacturing capability on our shores and protect jobs in regional areas. So why oppose what businesses think is a good idea? In fact, many of them have been calling for exactly this.
Well, Andy, I mean, you refer to as a Liberal, I'll be sort of trying to do what business wants. No. My first thought goes to the Australian consumer. The everyday consumer just doesn't have the voice that a big company might have. Once you start introducing taxes and introducing tariffs, then there's one thing for certain, and that is prices will go up. And in the midst of a cost of living crisis, it's going to be everyday Australians who will start having to pay more. And if that means, someone's going to buy a house or do a reno, glass panes, aluminium frames, concrete slabs, doing that brick wall at the back, all of these materials, the cost will go up for consumers. And I don't think that's good for not just the consumer. I don't think it's good for the competitiveness of Australian companies over the longer term. That is sort of my instinctive reaction. Ultimately, the main reason why people are saying, such as the company you mentioned, that they're happy to hear the possibility of a tariff is they're having to now pay a tax. So this tariff idea seems to me to be trying to mop up the consequences of Labor introducing a carbon tax. And so instead of just taxing domestically, they're saying let's also tax imports. Either way, it lands on consumers in the form of higher prices. And that's my gut reaction. Again, noting the consultation paper's just been released, so we'll certainly engage with it and get ahead around the detail. But to be open with you, that's exactly how I see it.
I want to talk about nuclear energy. You've been pushing for small nuclear reactors as a replacement for the ageing coal-fired power plants. NuScale, the only company, to my knowledge, to have one approved in the US, has cancelled its first project due to rising costs. So what does the coalition, or why does the coalition continue to push this sort of theoretical nuclear technology rather than proven renewables like solar?
Andy, let's take a step back. The coalition's view is getting to net zero is going to be so difficult. We have to do it, but we need to have all options on the table. The last thing we should be doing is taking anything off. And so we believe in an all-of-the-above approach, not in a renewables-only approach, which is what Labor's going down the path of. Renewables are going to play a really important role in the grid. They already are. And we need the optimum level of renewables, but not the maximum level. That's not the end game. The end game here is we need to decarbonise the economy while keeping prices down, the lights on, and ensuring we've got energy security.
But I would say you have cited NuScale's technology as part of the reason why Australia should partially lift a national ban on nuclear energy. Yet industry experts say nuclear energy is more expensive than alternatives, and in a best-case scenario, couldn't even play a role in Australia for more than a decade. So with the failure of this project, will you still continue to pursue this?
So, Andy, there's a few things in there if I can unpack them individually. Firstly, you're right in saying that the coalition, and me in particular, I've been talking about the need for Australia to consider next generation zero emissions nuclear energy. And there are basically three types. There are micro reactors, there are small modular reactors, and there are large reactors. And again, consistent with all of the above, my view publicly has been clear from the get-go. We should be considering all of those three types, so long as they are generation 3+ and beyond. In other words, we don't want to touch the old technology, but we are interested in the new and advanced technologies because it offers such flexibility. It can work together with renewables. The safety standards are second to none. And this is where, as you look across the world, most developed countries, most of our allies, are going down this path of generation 3+. So within that, you're right, we've got small modular reactors. Now, within small modular reactors, within that sort of category, if you like, there are about 70 different SMR companies out there, all looking at their own reactors. The one you referenced is probably one of about at least 8 or 9, maybe 10 that I have checked out and I have looked at, and a fascinating concept they have, that's NuScale. And you're also right to say that NuScale lost a major customer recently. And you know, I'm sure that's certainly not good news for NuScale. But what I've heard people talk about is they've gone from the fact that one of 70 companies loses a customer to this enormous leap to say, aha, maybe SMRs just won't work. But again, if you look around the world, only recently, the last couple of months, even in Canada, let's say, the province of Ontario, they had plans for one SMR, and I've been there. I've met with Ontario Power Generation. I've gone to the site where they're doing the prep work for that one SMR. They've actually quadrupled their order just within the last couple of months, right? So They now want 4 SMRs. And so you can't apply the logic that because one company is having problems, then an entire technology won't work. Otherwise, we would have no technology out there.
Okay.
You know?
We'll have to leave it there, Ted. Ted O'Brien is the Shadow Energy and Climate Change Minister. I appreciate your time.
And yours, Andy. All the best.